You can't make pasta like egusi. You can. It's just you have to use egusi recipe to make egusi. You cannot start sprinkling cheese in egusi because you feel like, oh, I want to make this demographic of people like it. It's either they like it or they don't like it.
So, welcome to the Well Actually podcast. Yes, the Well Actually podcast proper. We're not here to talk about movies today. I hope y'all didn't think I was gonna leave you without, our year in review of music. Uh, First of all, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, recommend, share this podcast, however you may be getting it. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and give us a like, leave a comment, and on Spotify as well. You can also leave comments on Spotify and vote in some of the polls. Uh, we're going to be talking about music. We're going to be doing our year in review. We're going to be doing our top 10 song of the year in Afrobeats. So you can as well like vote in what you think your number one song should be. Uh, Let me just jump straight into it. We have a special guest here, uh, very plugged into the Afrobeat scene. He curates playlists, A&Rs for artists, and I even follow one of his playlists on Spotify because I'm not as up on it as I need to be. So I just make sure that I just go borrow a little from his list. Mr. Ice, what's going on, man?
Good evening, man. How's it going?
All right, all right. So, like I said, we don't have like I just want to get straight into a lot of what we're supposed to be discussing
Yeah,
because
let's do it.
yeah, like 2024 has been a big year. I want to say a huge year for Afrobeats, and I feel like we say that every year, but it just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
So I just want to get some first of all before we get into any of the lists that we are known for, our countdowns are they are a bit controversial. But before we get to that point, I want to get to Afrobeats on the world stage. Like, do you okay? Let me before I get presumptuous. Do you think Afrobeats on the world stage? Where is Afrobeats in that regard?
In Africa?
No, no, on the in the world, like on the
Oh,
world stage, like
I thought you said in Africa. I was gonna say, well, on a world stage, I don't know. I can't really say that this is where it is because, and I say that because at some point it felt like it was progressing, like it's on a like big pedestal. But now I'm not so sure, and that's why I can't really say like this is where it's at. I think if we want to really put like some kind of position to it, I would like to say like we are out there, like people know about Afrobeats now, like they can hear us. It's consumable for even people that are not Africans, and that's a great thing. But on the flip side of it, the actual creative aspect of it is I don't know if that is moving forward or if that is stagnant or if it's actually regressing. That's the part that I said I
oh,
don't know where we are on a world stage. I can't say this is where we are. But in part of like impact, the way people look at it, it's good right now. Um, but the future of it is what I'm not so sure of, you know. What do you think?
so wait be- so in case anyone is new or even you, I'm not the one that gives the hot takes. I borrow from the credibility of my guest in this regard
Yeah,
because of this. But you said something really interesting,
right.
and I just want to go into that real quick. So you feel like as a commodity, it's growing,
Yeah,
but creatively, it's stagnant or
yeah,
even regressing.
yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that I got what you were saying.
yeah.
And I don't even want to like get to a point where you're like naming names, but is there any aspect where because I don't think a lot of people would have that take that the creativity is has sort of plateaued.
Mm.
So I'm like, is there anything that you can point to where you're like yeah, we were like we used to be a society, like how people say. So is there anything like because it feels like there are even more genres now. So to me, that speaks to uh that creativity,
Mm,
but that could also be like an untrained ear on my part.
mm.
So
Well,
like how would you like
I,
explain that?
I I would like to say, like, when it comes to music, I when it comes to, like, when I was looking at the world stage, I'm looking at hits, I'm looking at awards. Granted, we've not had Grammys. I don't know. I don't think we've had Grammys this year already. But
Yeah.
I'm talking like hits. I'm looking at awards. I'm looking at global recognitions, um, and also, um, when it comes to the creative aspects, I'm looking at how people are coming up with ideas. I think in 2024 there was a shortage of ideas. Um, there was a big shortage of ideas from the top guys, and the people that flourished with upcoming artists who didn't really have a lot of motion. They didn't have a lot of fans, but they had a lot of talent. Like, they have really good talent, really good sound, new sound that is different. And I feel like a lot of the top guys struggled. um I'll put it to you like this: what was Burna Boy's last hit?
So I'm the last person to ask about Burna Boy. I've been on a hiatus from Burna Boy, like
All right.
so
Well,
I haven't listened to like his last three albums. So I'm
so
the
yeah,
last person.
what was what about Whiskey? What would you say was like Whiskey's last hit? I would say Essence, right?
Well, I guess it also depends on what you consider a hit.
No, like, what I mean, like, we're talking like on a global stage.
Oh, okay, on a global stage.
Like, we're
Okay.
talking like on Afrobeats on a
What
global.
about Piece of My Heart with Brent Fires?
That's new. It's not a hit yet. It's
You don't consider it a hit?
No, it's not. Because, like, when I say a hit, like, Burna Boy's last global hit was Last Last for me. Everywhere I went, people were
Not
bumping.
City Boys?
Uh, no, it's
And
Last
not,
Last.
not City
City Boys
Boys?
was a good record. Don't get me wrong. City Boys was a really nice record. But when I say hit, I mean, like, I go out at night, I hear it. I open my balcony, I hear somebody playing their convertible. I didn't hear City Boys like that. You know what I mean? I turn on my radio sometimes, I hear Rema and Selena Gomez. That's a hit, right? When I'm saying hit, like, I'm not talking about like a great song. We have a lot of great songs, but I'm talking like a global hit where
Okay.
people started going, I need a boat and shy. That's a hit. That
Okay.
is a hit.
Okay.
Essence, people were singing Essence at boat parties, rooftops, like boats in Africa and here, everywhere. That is a hit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So when I say what was Burna Boy's last hit for me, it was Last, like global hit, not what was
Okay.
Whiskey's
Yeah.
last global hit. Essence, you know what I mean? When was this? Like 2020, not 24, not 23, I think. What was Davido's last global hit? You know, not 2024, 2023, 2022. So it's the song with Fave, I think maybe that was that what would I say? Yeah, Kante. That or maybe unavailable, but still, these are songs they were not in 2024, right? They were not
But
from.
that could also be in line with the album releases. Like that was the last time Davido released an album.
Yeah, fair enough, but still, it's like a hit is a hit. If you have one, you have one. If you don't have one, you don't have one. That's just how it is, right? So it's what I'm trying to say is this year, why I feel like on a global stage the creativity is not there for me is because, one, not just that we didn't have a hit, but we didn't have enough from the people that we expected it from. Like, the people that you expect to hear from, like your Omale, I didn't hear much from Omale this year. We got something from Benson, which was really nice, like heavy, like, but the people that you really expected to give you enough. Like, I mean, the only person that I would say like gave us something this year that I was proud of is Ashake and Rema. that I really enjoyed their projects. Like I'm talking about the top guys now, you know. But
Mhm.
even with that, it was controversial. The projects were controversial, you know, like it wasn't something that people were used to. So from the people that I kind of thought like maybe would deliver um, hits, like to just kind of go further with the Afrobeat story, I didn't see that, you know, and that's why for me, I said creatively, it's like we are chasing something. Like I feel like it's not about making music anymore. Now it's not. It's now about who wants to go number one on Spotify, who wants to go number one on Apple Music, who wants to, you know, like it's not about accolades. Like let's quickly get like without even developing your artistry, we are just rushing to accolades and the gold chains. I mean the diamond neck chains now. Like that's where we are going as Afrobeats, you know. Like who got the best chains, who got the best cars, even though you just started, you know, singing like, you know, mainstream like 2 3 years ago. This is like when they say skit makers are now buying bands, you know. Like that's
Mhm.
where we're going. You know, that and that's what I'm saying. Like it's not about the music, like people are not plugged in like with the music. When it comes to like Afrobeats this year, the people that really made groundbreaking songs were people that you probably have never heard of as much, you know, for me, really. So, but overall, that's why I said, like, for me, I don't know where we're going. Um, I don't see the infrastructure with regards to like nurturing talents in the local space. I just see an opportunity for sharks to come in and grab talents and just profit off them and just dump them later. That's what I'm seeing right now. So um in 2024 it was very clear that if we don't do something, if we don't open the gates and let like the new sound come in, and we are just everybody is just piling on what is already there, it might get to a point where people start to say like Afrobeat is a thing of yesterday. Um, because there's a lot of genres that have come and they've, you know, they've had their time, and if you want to say have their time, and then now they're like, you know, they're still there, but still they are not as hot as they used to be. And I'm afraid that Afrobeat might be one of those. So um but yeah, that is it for me, for at least on a global stage for this year, Sha.
So I want to push back on the global hits, lack of hits from the top guys,
Mm,
because like something that was noticeably absent from the people that I mentioned were the women of Afrobeats. So
mm,
like Thames, Ira Star, I feel like they put out, not only did they put out good music, like they had some hits. And I would say, at least for me, because I guess for me, Ira Star was like one of the artists, like it was one of the albums that I listened to like repeatedly this
right,
year.
right.
So like there's some artists that I'll listen to a couple songs, but Ira Star, like the year I turned 21, like for me that was really dope from beginning to end. And even like the collabs that she did, I felt like they they were well done in that it wasn't just go and get like the biggest artist. It was someone that, like when the one that she did with Coco Jones,
Mm.
it's like you do a song with someone who sort of what's the word that I'm using, that I'm looking for, that
Next.
it complements the sound.
Right.
It's not too much of a divergence from what you're trying to do. It
Mm.
doesn't like it sonically is not, it doesn't cause you pain to like this feels clunky. And Afrobeats, a lot of our early um collabs with American artists were very clunky.
Yeah.
They were just like collab for the sake of it. And honestly, for me, it's like that Woman Commando, like it was her bringing someone else in. It wasn't her like adjusting her sound to someone else.
Mm.
And then I guess even with Thames, there are some certain people who just believe that Thames is not even an Afrobeats artist at this point. She's an R&B artist.
Mm.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because it's it paints Afrobeats as a very narrow genre, because even Afrobeats in itself, I feel like it's too simplistic.
Mm.
I wouldn't say that Wizkid and even Omale make the same kind of music.
All right.
I wouldn't say um, Omale and Patoranking make the same type of music,
Sure.
and then I wouldn't say them and Cruz and Tino make the same kind of, like,
Yeah.
it's just a very convenient. It's like it's I hope I don't get canceled, but it's kind of like how we just use Asian because we
Mm.
don't know if someone's Chinese or Japanese or Korean, and we just like, okay, I'm not offending anyone by using this, and I'm just, so that's how I feel a lot of times that we use Afrobeat, and because it's the word that we have, it's the word that we use. If
Mm.
we had better words, like, if, because to me a lot of it is pop,
Mm.
and if we were better at using pop for a lot of this, like Afro pop or whatever, it would give opportunities for other genres within Afrobeats to sort of rise to prominence. But I mean, I just wanted to interject with, the female artists did their thing, and at the top there isn't a lot of wiggle room, not just in Afrobeats. There isn't a lot of wiggle room when it comes to creativity,
Mm.
and that goes for everything. Like even in hip hop, it's
I,
kind of it's kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of what separates. Well, let me not say there isn't wiggle room, but there is safety in like staying within the lines,
mm.
because you know it works.
Mm.
So a lot of people are, yeah, it kind of goes back to a bit of what you said, like, you know the formula that works, therefore everybody is using those same ingredients,
Mm.
rather than trying to be the first person that made this work. So yeah, I mean, I
I,
get what you're saying. I get,
I will. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you, but I think I get where you're coming from. I sincerely do. But I will speak first to the female artists of Afro,
sure.
and let me say like this, right? The reason why I didn't mention them first is because your Thames, your Irish stars, these are your, we have superstars in Afrobeat, right? We have true superstars, people that we you can call like our superstars, right? And these people are superstars. But like when I say like people that I expected hits from, I'm talking about like my top three. Like people that they like, for example, I know Wiz has given me hits before, so I can expect a hit from him, right? I know Bonner has done it before, so I can expect a hit from him. I know like David has done before, I can expect one from him, right? People that have given me hits before, right? Our star is she's giving hits, but like when I'm saying like a global hit, like she's somebody that is trying to break into that global stage. Like I'm not sure. I don't think she's broken into it as much as you would say like your Rem maybe, or your Whiskey or your David over the top three. And that's why I said like I didn't mention those because I feel like they are not that I'm not expecting it from them. They are growing as an artist. Like they're not like the big three, the people that you just look at and expect it from them. And granted, like Thames, for example, she's had hits in the Western space. Like I turn on my radio, I hear Free Mind. You understand? Like do you know what I mean? Like it's a
Mhm.
song that comes on the radio all the time. Like that's a hit for me, right?
Mhm.
And when I listened to our album this year, I don't know, I was not engaged. I I I, I it wasn't something that I went back to, And I don't because I don't call people's work bad or because I feel like, but I might say like it's not for me because like the sound I wasn't engaged. I felt like maybe it was a little bit monotonous somehow. It wasn't something that I just went back to. Aristazon I enjoyed, I really did, but like I said, global hit. I don't know the global hit on Tim's album because I don't think I'm hearing it anywhere like a particular song that Tim sang on the album that I'm hearing as much as I was hearing Free Mind or or any of our old songs like Higher. Um,
Mm.
Ira Star too. She had great songs on that, the year I turned 21 album. Jazzy song, like she had really good songs on there, but global hit. I, I would not say like there's any song on that Ira Stars album that is a global.
Really?
Yeah, because I
No
I
commas, not even bad vibes, not
Bad Vibes.
yes, we share vibes. I guess maybe that wouldn't necessarily fall under global, but
Yeah, arguably. Let's just say arguably, but because Bad Vibes was for me is like a regional hit.
mm,
It's not like a global hit. Bad Vibes, I don't, like I said, if we're talking on a global stage, I did not turn on my radio and heard Bad Vibe one time. I heard different songs when we said like Afrobeats were popping. I heard what's the name of this guy? What's the name of that guy that sang I'm sorry. CK.
mm,
I heard CK. CK had two songs on the radio. Rema had one with Selena Gomez. Thames had one. Wizkid had one with Essence. I'm talking songs that were everywhere, like global. I'm not just saying Nigeria or Africa. Bad Vibes is a nice song, but I don't know. It's a great song, but I don't know if it's like a global hit, right? So I wouldn't say, like, well, in my opinion, I wouldn't say it was a global hit. So, like I said, we have superstars, Thames, Iris Star, Whiskey, Davido. We have people that they show that they you can see that energy on them. But in 2024, did we? I don't know if we got the show money, the star, the aura, but we didn't get the music. I don't think we got the music from them at all. I think what we got is below what we expected. There's only a few people that really gave me something in 2024 that I can hold on to, like on a global, like on a global. When I say global, like that, I feel like okay, this is something that will live up to its name at some point, and that's why I say like with Thames, with Iris Star, with Thames, I feel like she has set a really high bar
mm. Okay.
before she dropped this album. Like it's a very high bar. Like being on Essence was a really great thing. She had records of her own that was doing numbers before she even dropped this album, and I think having to, you know, how do you say, like outdo yourself, it can be very very challenging. And I am not that I'm saying that the album is bad. I'm just saying that it was not for me. Like and I've enjoyed our previous albums before. I mean, not albums, but our previous projects, let me say. But this particular project was just not for me. So with the women in Afro beats, I didn't hear much from Tiwa Savage. um I'm not the ones that are coming up now, like Bloody Civilian. Those are the ones that you kind of hear about, like still making. So because they're not short of ideas. They have ideas of what to do, what songs, But when it comes to it, I'm not hearing. There's no much motion, and that's why it's not just about the female artists. It's also about the guys as well. There's
Mm,
For me, I saw a little bit of stagnancy in the way we do things, like and and this goes back to what I said earlier, like the creativity has now been watered down to
mm,
kind of make way for this make believe lifestyle to so you can easily grab money, like
mm,
because like if I'm an what I think people are doing now, right, is if let's assume that I'm an artist and I make one nice song, right? Like I've been doing this for a while. I make one nice song, and then I make this nice song, and people are rocking with it. And then I think to myself, okay, what's the next move to make? Then maybe somebody comes along and they say, oh, let me just put some money on you, and let's go from there. And they put some money on you, and now you guys are stream farming, right? You're buying views. You're on
mm,
YouTube. You're buying views on Apple Music. Now you're top 10. Now, as long as you got your little screenshot that says your top 10 or your number one, now you're parading that everywhere, right? Now people are seeing this lifestyle. Your label has given you a little money to put some chain on, they put a little bands on you, like, you know, now you are doing something, you know, it feels like you have motion, but really there's no motion in the music space. It's just motion, like it's all make believe. At some point, you start doing shows and you start
Mm.
billing people for the shows, like really crazy money. Now you're in Atlanta, now you're in Minnesota, now you're in, you know, with one song or two songs or three songs, it doesn't matter. As long as you're wearing the flashy stuff, as long as you have one song you can hold on to that is a hit, and you can do all of that, right? And it's like an easy route to success because everybody has seen what Wizkid is doing, what Davido is doing. They're making music, they're buying jets, they're doing this, you know, you know. So now it's like it's an easy route now to that
Mm.
space. It's a very fast way to get there, like to the success without having to do a lot of work to put yourself there. So, and when artists now, when I say like the creativity is stagnant, when what happens is when you get to that place and you're not prepared, you get put in environments where you get tested, you know, like as an artist. And a lot of these folks, they don't survive. Like you move from where like you were some artists are really good. Don't get me wrong, really, really good. Like they were making really great songs. Like and all of a sudden Afrobeats to the world. Now they're touring, now they're this and that. Okay, I'm gonna stay around here. Instead of going back to Lagos where everything started, where the music is, where the producers that gave you that hit, where they are. Now
Mm.
I want to stay in San Francisco to work with DJ Joe, you know, because DJ Joe said like, you know, we can make something together that will bring us together and give us the, you know, instead of you to remember that, hey, P Prime or this, you know, this guy gave me this beats and we were in the studio together. The authenticity of the art, the authenticity of the craft. I remember Whiskey said like some songs he made, he recorded them sitting down, like the ease of making the good music now is thrown out. All of that stuff is thrown out now. It's now about like what network, what relationships can I quickly build in a big space that can take me to the next level without me having to do a lot of work. So that's why I say like I'm not sure where we are on the global stage, because if we had our own infrastructure that nurtured artists, that you don't need to, like, this is a technology age, you can put your song online and have people listen to it, like, right? That's why I like people like Lona. I never heard about Lona before I listened to that tape, like, and that album, and that was an incredible album. Like that's one of the people that this year they blew my mind. That's the creative juice coming from the underground that I was talking about, right? These are people like your TML vibes, your Ortega, like, you know, people connect, like names that you're not really used to hearing. These are where your juices came from this year. But the people that you'd expect that they give you that, it's like you didn't get nothing from them. And there's a reason why. It's not because like those people are not creative. It's just, to me, it feels like they're distracted. That
So
distracted.
it kind of sounds like you're saying like the global aspect of things it's kind of almost backfiring a bit. Like
It is
like
backfiring because it is backfiring heavily because it's like you anybody can come now and take advantage of the craft. Anybody can, like, anybody. The other day, right, we were hearing about Dappa and Charlie Poppy. They were
mm,
going at each other like, oh, streams, this one, I didn't get my money. Anybody can come now and throw money at you, promise you this, and then in 2 years, 3 years later, you guys are having an argument online about how this didn't work out, this didn't work out. We're not talking about the music anymore. We're talking about, like, granted, artists have always thought about contracts, but you don't hear it this early in people's careers. It's like when they're about to leave, you know, after they've served their time at their label, you know.
so let me pause you there. So can you reset what the whole Charlie Poppy Dapper uh beef or discussion was or is at this point?
Oh no, I don't know what the situation is, but I'm just going based on what I saw online, like, you
Okay.
know, and the public statement that Charlie Poppy was giving out, like, oh, what was owed to him was not given to him by Dapper Music, and he wasn't pleased with their business relationship, right? And what I mean was like at some point Charlie Poppy was happy, right? Because I saw interviews of him saying like, "This is why I signed to Dapper Music. Dapper is not about the money." That like, you know what I mean? Like at some point he was happy. What I'm saying is, if you as a investor, you can come in and say, "I'll throw money at this product just to amplify it easily." We can always do that, but the craft itself, like what we are selling, the quality of what we are selling is not getting there. Like that is the problem that I'm having with it. And if the quality of what we are selling is not improving, that means that the people that are making it are not improving,
Okay.
which means that ultimately the craft is dying. And when I'm saying like the only hope that I see is the underground people, and I'm hoping that they get a chance for people to hear them, for them to know, and then most importantly, for them not to get distracted. Because I think I really do believe like the distraction is when you get there, you're doing all these shows, and you want to make more money, and like I said, you want to. Every artist has to evolve. You want to evolve, and now we're making different moves, but we forget about where the stuff came from. We forget about where, like, now people are chasing like international hits, like a sound that sounds really good to the Grammys, that they will say, okay, we can rock with this, right? But where it started from, the kind of music that you were making that made people know you, people are not going back there anymore.
So
So
let me ask you that then. When did it become like when did Grammys become a barometer for Afrobeats as to like speaking towards quality? Because I don't remember like Grammys as uh, a stand-in for quality for Afrobeat specifically
mm,
until like the last 5 years or even maybe even the last 3 years.
yeah,
And do you think like that? I guess for me my own observation is that it's the stands of these artists who amplify the Grammys as a knock on someone else compared to
mm,
what their fave has done. Well, I don't remember when we were like, oh, well, Jazzy has this or the band has this or like that hasn't been a thing so much. And it could also speak to the fact that those artists themselves weren't nominated. So that's probably why that was. So I'm trying to figure out like when exactly did that change come
well,
about?
yeah, well, I think it used to be BET Awards. Um, like I think it used to be BET Awards at some point. Um, and I'm not sure who got that award first. Maybe it was Ice Prince, maybe it was Davido. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But it used to be BET Awards, and I think if we are going, it's just normal for you to want to attain a bigger accolade, you know, as whatever craft that you're doing. If you really want to show that you're that guy, you'd aim for the best in class. But with the Grammys, I just feel like that one was inevitable. Like the sound that we were making was progressing. That I feel like it really was inevitable. Like I remember there was a time like going back to what you said. Um, I don't know who. I think it was Whiskey that was saying like I'm not an Afrobeat artist. Um, I'm just like I'm an artist. Like because I didn't want to be boxed in into one genre and all of that. I think when you look back to where Grammys became like a measuring yardstick, I think generally people have been getting Grammys before Afrobeats. Like African music has been getting Grammys before Afrobeat. I not before Afrobeat started, before Afrobeat went global. Like I remember I think it's Java as a Grammy. I think Black Coffee has a Grammy. Um,
Sean Kuti as well.
Uti has a Grammy. Like, and these are not. This is not the times where we are at. The times of whiskey and all of the like. These people had their Grammy. So Grammy has always been something that artists in Africa they aim to achieve. It's just, is it out of reach? Is it within reach? These days it's more within reach. You know what I mean? So, but the I want to say like I don't want to know. I don't know which word to use, but the way we have now glorified Grammys, not just Grammys, but like these are awards to make it seem like if you don't have one, you are not doing anything. You know, it's the problem I have with it. Like if we are now making songs just for it to win Grammy, there was a time Nice said, um, Mushimagba Grammy. He was saying it on a song, like in Yoruba. I think he was just like, you know what I mean? He was singing a song. Not that he was making that song to make Grammys. No, he was just making a song that was true to him, right? That is what is missing now. Making songs that are true to you versus curating a song. Like it's like when you try to bake a hit, like you try to like put the ingredients together, like let's bring this producer, let's bring this big name producer, let's bring this very good guy that makes like let's let's bake it together. But like I don't think that's how music should be. Yes, you can strategize, but it should still be organic, it should still be authentic, you know. And the authenticity of the music that they're making, at least for 2024, again, from the people that I expected it from, it was not it was not it for me. The people that I didn't expect from, the people that are not veterans, those are the people that were given real authenticity. And like I said, there's a reason for that.
So I have two things to ask you based on those, and I'll layer them. So like we talked about Grammys a bit. Why is it that whatever the local award show situation is doesn't get this kind of like push? It doesn't get the kind of prestige, like whether it's Headies or whatever other local award shows we have. It's gotten to the point that the Headies are even hosted overseas. Like our it's a Nigerian thing, but it's hosted in Atlanta.
Yeah, I
So it's like
remember that.
why is it so down on the list for artists to, whether it's attend the award ceremony itself, or it's like if it's Grammys, BET Awards, we'll be lining up for like invitations to them, nominations, and meanwhile like your own local thing, like you're not paying it any mind.
Well, I think when those artists when they start, they take that their local awards seriously. I think Headies mean a lot to a lot of people that are artists in Afrobeats right now. I
Okay.
think, and that is because like I said, when you Headies or not just Headies, local awards, it's an attainable accolade for you if you're an Afrobeats artist. Like Grammy is more out of reach for you than Headies would be. Um, just realistically speaking, because even artists that are here, they've not won Grammys. So
Uh-huh.
I think the artists in Nigeria or in in the Nigerian Afrobeat space, they do take the local awards seriously. The only problem that I see there is that they only do that when they are beginning, right? Like when they are maybe like early in their career. As time
Mhm.
goes on, you shoot for other accolades. Like if Headies has snubbed you for a while, you probably would not go for the awards and after a while and say like, oh, let me shoot for bigger awards, let me go for BT. If Eddie's has given you the awards like three times, you might be bored and say, you know what, let me shoot for something else. So it's not that they don't, I don't think that it's not that they don't take it serious. I just think like It's just human nature for always going for something that is bigger than what you are used to or what you see. In the Nigerian space, the fans they take local awards seriously. They go there, they see them. So with Headies coming to the US, I think it's just more of like trying to carry the overseas fan base along, like just to do something different. That time did it work out? I don't know, but but it was just, in my opinion, I would like to believe that that was what they were trying to do, and also appeal to, like, I get some prestige, appeal to foreign fan base, get their name out there. Headies is also a big award, just like maybe like the Grammys, whatever it is that they were planning to do. I don't know, but for me, I think it is important for you as an artist to take your local awards very seriously. I think that is where you gather a decent amount of fan base to propel you to even go on a global level. Like if you don't have motion in your space, people outside are not gonna hear about you. The Black Sheriff didn't go big on a global stage. People in Ghana were already championing his name before he went global. Any artist that goes global is because your local fan base are actually saying stuff. And this is social media. People will look you up, right? That is the thing. What drives me crazy is we forget we forget where the music came from. Like, this is how it happened for me. So like then we start looking at, okay, let me start to cook it this way. Like, you can make pasta like egusi, you can. You have to use egusi recipe to make egusi. You cannot start sprinkling cheese in egusi because you feel like, oh, I want to make this demographic of people like it. It's either they like it or they don't like it. Keep it like, you know what I mean? So, but that is the creative aspect for me that is dying. It's mixing things that don't belong in the craft, all in the name of trying to please, to reach different demographics. People forget that music is a universal language. You don't have to speak a certain language, English, Dutch, French, for people to actually understand, to feel it. It's like Mobile said, music no need permission to enter your spirit.
Hmm.
It's real facts. But when we are now going to the fact, like, let me look for this producer, let me look for this guy. I have to fly to this place to go and talk to this guy. Is the one that, like, Odumodu says something. He said, once you believe that your destiny is in the hand of a man, you're finished.
Hmm.
And that is what I'm seeing in the artistry right now. We have gone from believing in ourselves to now believing that we do need some people or some things to push us to a different level. Instead of taking advantage of the technology age of, you can put your music out and you can be doing numbers. Just keep making great music. It's hard when you don't have money or you don't have resources to push yourself, but it's still doable.
Hmm.
As if the sound is great, you people will notice you at some point, and if you improve, and you get a lot of fan base that keep pushing your name, no matter how small you are. Thames used to be small. Sheyi Vibes used to be small. You know what I mean? All Ashake used to be small. You be surprised the number of videos you saw from Ashake before it blew up, right? People, these were people that used to be small. They had their own fan base, people that loved them, that pushed them, that said, you know what, you deserve to be heard somewhere else. And now they're taking their sound out there. People are now, do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So when it comes to that export, we are not improving the sound to take it somewhere else. Like the people that I expect, let me say, that I expect for them to improve the sound, they are catering to the people that they should not be catering to. They should be, in my opinion, they should be catering to their local fans so the local fans can um, amplify them. Because like, you cannot tell, it's difficult for you to make a song in whatever way that you're making it, and you're making it for an audience that you've never made it for before, and you just expect them to pick it up and just say it's the next thing after sliced bread. It doesn't work like that. You have to, the influencing is a real thing. It is a real thing, and that influencing starts from somewhere. It doesn't just you don't start from here. He starts from somewhere that then goes here. So that is what I personally think is missing. You know, these days when it comes to our music.
Okay. So I don't want any of the listeners or the watchers or the viewers to think that this is like an attack on Afrobeats or nah. It's a state
Oh no,
of it's like a state of the union. But when you have high expectations, it's okay to say when you feel like you've been let down. And part of nurturing something or caring about something is saying what you think hasn't gone right and what you feel can help them improve.
definitely.
Yeah,
It, it's
and a
not
lot
a
of this, I mean, what we're saying isn't law, but it's opinion. And that's the thing about art. It's subjective. It's what feels good to you as well. And you can say that hey, the people at the top haven't necessarily brought it the way you expected.
mm,
So I just wanted to make sure that I gave not necessarily like a disclaimer, but an explainer as to like usually we're very flowery about these things. But if you don't feel like 2024 has been that way, at least for the ones at the top. Like you said, there are a lot of underground artists who have had that ability to 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 I want to say like experiment. And it's also one of because I know I said I had two questions for you when I mentioned the Grammys. The other thing was it's the same way even with the hip hop artists, like for a lot of them, their first album is usually their best because when you're like grimy on like unrefined, even the quality of the music, the subject matter
mm,
is is something that your audience can tap into a lot more than you talking about the number of cars and whatever you got, the number of painting, flying on jets. Like the average person can't relate to that.
no.
But when you're talking about like uh, things didn't go right, you're catching the bus to your second job while you're like those things, people can relate to that, and those are the ones that like I'll use 50 Cent for example. Get Rich or Die Trying came out in 2003. There are few albums that have come out since then that people put over it,
Mm,
even from 50 Cent himself. And that came out 21 years ago. Like that album is old enough to drink.
mm,
It's and it's probably not his best produced stuff. Well, well, because it was Dr. Dre, so the production was top notch. But the subject matter was that's that street gritty, and it had like hits upon hits upon hits. Sure, he came up with good music later on, but there's nothing that I don't think there's any album that he has come out with later that touched that.
mm,
And it's the same way for a lot of other artists. Like once you get to the top or what you perceive to be the top, you take fewer chances on the music.
mm,
You want the like it becomes about maintaining the success rather than exploring your artistry. It's like it becomes commerce over creativity. It like once you become popular, you want to stay popular. You don't want to stray too far from, oh well, I have like you said, I have these ingredients
mm,
and like, I'm not trying to rock the boat. And they sort of lose the thing that made them special in the first place. And yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. I just want but there's a reason why creativity typically doesn't come from people at the top.
mm,
They sort of they sort of I want to say borrow that new sound, like established artists will borrow that new sound from others. It's something that Drake did a lot. Like
mm,
he was a master at it of, oh, I like this sound you have over here. Let me incorporate it into what I'm doing. And it sort of gave him new life. So it's like it's a thing, not just for Afrobeat artists.
yeah, but if Drake can do it, why can't our artists do it?
Well, but then Drake is also seen as a bit of a culture vulture. That's the thing. Like
That's cool, right? That's cool, right? Because I like
Mhm.
Drake, right? I like Drake because I think Drake, uh, the music that I've heard from Drake, I really love those music. Whether it's you
Recent ones or early Drake.
all Drake, like
Oh, really? Okay.
the because like when it was singing, when it was rapping, when it was clowning from, I enjoy this stuff. Like it was one of the artists that I've always enjoyed this stuff. But what
Okay.
I'm saying is, if a person like Drake can manage to give you hits. Like, granted, not everybody is Drake. Not everybody can be Drake. But what I'm saying is, I expect a hit from Drake. I get a hit from Drake. You understand?
But what
I
you get from him is also extremely manufactured.
it depends on how you say it, right? Because let me put it to you this way.
Mhm.
I think Chris Brown said something in an interview. He said, "They said they wrote for me, but can they sing it like me?
Mm,
Right? Can they
okay.
sing it like me?" That is a different. You can write songs, but to deliver it and make people dance to it or rock with it is a different kind of, you know. It's not something that you can just say everybody can do. What I'm saying is, we've heard of people, David O also, like I remember like um him having people that, like Peruzzi. I remember that time that Peruzzi, he collaborated with Peruzzi, and they had a lot of songs that were really buzzing, like really hit, big songs at that time. If somebody else did those songs, it probably might not go. But because David O did those songs, they went as far as they did. What I'm saying is, if it does not matter if you're saying manufactured, I want to make sure that we align on what we say when we say manufacture. Like, what I mean is, like, it's not, maybe somebody else wrote it, somebody else produced it. Like, when you say manufactured, that's what I am thinking, right?
I
But
mean, for Drake, he has like the allegations are legit when it comes to someone else writing.
yeah, but and that's what I'm saying. I don't mind people writing for you. um I don't mind. I like, you don't have to. Songwriting is not something that I would say like is an issue for you as an artist. People write for you. I think Beyonce has songwriters. Most people have songwriters, right? But it's just that in rap, it's a thing that is frowned upon, right? So what I'm saying is, in Afrobeats, songwriting is not frowned upon. You can write song for people and they can deliver it however they want to deliver it. So manufacturing doesn't really work in the Afrobeat space. As long as you make the song a hit or make it pop in, that's all people really care about. So if Drake can do it, right? If Drake can manufacture a hit or manufacture really great songs that kept him relevant for years, why can't our artists do it? I'm not talking about our artists. I'm talking like the people that you expected from in our space. Because it's not that they don't have access to songwriters, they have access to the best technology, recording, mixing, the best resources, the best people to do the work. Why is it that we are not getting that, top shelf work that you would expect from somebody that has access to all these resources, all this stuff? You're not getting that from them. But you're getting that from the guy that is in Magodo recording from his bedroom.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, it's if you're able to if you're able to come together and realize that to make a great song become a hit, it depends on your local fan base. A lot of great songs don't go past great songs, they're just great songs. But for it to be something that is big, that is massive, you need it to be authentic, and you need your local fans to understand that music. When they understand that music, they start taking it everywhere. The reason why Afrobeat grew to the level it grew to is because Africans were taking it out. Africans were exporting it overseas. That other
Mm,
people were like, wait, what is that? Let me get the name of that artist. You're in an Uber. Oh, who is that? Let me get the name of that artist. You're on a
right.
plane. Who's that? Let me get the name of that artist. Africans. Those guys didn't go to Africa to go and hear Burna Boy. They did not go to Africa to hear Sheyi Vibes. Somebody in Africa took it away.
Right.
So if we keep now making music that is excluding the local fan base, and we're saying, I'm just gonna make this song with this guy or this guy. Like, not that I'm saying that you should not evolve as an artist and grow, but I'm saying, like, if you're making songs that is catering to the people that you didn't start with, people that are maybe they don't understand you, language barrier, whatever it might be. Music is universal, but there is a place it starts. There's a place that sound starts where people now take it away. So I think um, with what you're saying that artists they find it hard to outdo their very first album or go beyond what they started with. 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. I think that's fair, but the only problem that I kind of have with that is 50 Cent didn't stop at Get Rich or Die Trying. Like he had other hits after Get Rich or Die Trying. He was not like he had other motion that amplified the name 50 Cent. It wasn't like 50 Cent became 50 Cent and then he realized that okay, I need to start making music that people in Malaysia would want to rock with. I need to start making music that people in France would rock with. 50 Cent was just being 50 Cent and they were hearing him in France, they were hearing him in Ukraine, like places where like he would not even know that they rock with him. Do you understand what I'm saying? It was not curating himself to be something else. So, um, and that is what I'm saying. That it's not about. Granted, an artist might find it hard to outdo their first, breakout song or breakout album. That is always there. But Ashake did it. Ashake did it with his first album. The next one was better than the first one. The third one is argue. People are arguing about it. Like some say they like it, some say they don't like it.
You
But
know, Work of Art was better than Mr. Money with the Vibe.
yes, Work of Art was better. Some people will say Work of Art is arguably his best album.
Hmm.
Work of Art was a different level than Mr. Money with the Vibes, and I think that Lungu Boy is even a very different level from Work of Art. And a lot of people will say like they don't know like because I heard a lot of mixed reviews with that one, but I think for me, Work of Art was the album of the year. Um, Arguably with Lona's album. Um, they're neck and neck for
Work
me.
of Art or Lungu Boy.
Who?
No, you said Work of Art was the album of the year.
Yeah, for me, Work of Art Ashake was the album of the year, and Lona, you know Lona, right?
No, but Work of Art wasn't this year.
No, sorry, not Work of Art. Lungu Boy.
Mhm.
Uh, Lungu Boy for me was the album of the year. Sorry, not Work of Art.
Mhm.
Lona's album is one of the ones that I would say like if it's not Lungu Boy, then it's it's that it's that Homeless album. Um,
Really?
yeah, if it's not Lungu Boy's Homeless album, it's one of the two. Like, and for me, that is what I want from an artist. Like the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying, that I say like Ashake's album is for me is what I expect. If you say you want to do like Afro beats to the world, is what I expect. I expect a cohesion of sound. Don't get me wrong, in Ashake's album, right? I'm not gonna say like there's a global hit in there because arguably I didn't turn on my radio and hear anything that says that I was hearing from that particular album, right? But when I say album of the year, I'm not talking just here in I'm talking about generally like in the whole Afrobeat space for this year.
Okay.
It's for me, it's an album that the concept makes sense for me. The name Lungu Boy is like a contrast to the concept of the album. And it works for me because the songs in the album they were communicating a different kind of vibe that we used to know from him.
Uh,
Right?
okay.
The when he came out, right, it was it was an artist that gave you this thing they call lamba. Like it was always on point. Like his lyrics were always like they were exciting, they were colorful, they were street, they had a little bit of street element to it, but at the same time they were very, very like high end. You could tell, with the way he delivers them. And it went from that to Lungu Boy, an album where he's having the likes of Travis Scott, Central C, These are he had that other lady that was on there, I think Adot or something like that. I can't remember her name. Whiskey. These are heavyweights in their respective countries, right? Every single person that was featured on that album is an heavyweight in their country. And the content of that album for me was just saying like, I'm here now. Like I'm on a different level now. And when I listen to that album, um, it's worldwide, it's money don't go, like mentally and all of those songs, I still hear that raw street Yoruba element in that song, in those songs. It feels that properly with modern beats. Like nobody is saying like stay local, but what makes you who you are, the lyrics, the content, the way you deliver it, it didn't change. Mentally, it was probably my song of the year. The things that he was saying on that song, I was relating to it so much. Like it was something that you hop on a song with Travis Scott, and I'm hearing Ayuba. I think it's
Yeah.
Ayuba. You know what I'm saying? The elements, the elements are still there. You know what I mean? Like you hop on a song with Central C and you are still speaking Yoruba, you're still giving them this lamba. Like the elements are there. The things that made you you. Like I didn't tune into Lungu Boy and I'm hearing him just be speaking English and now he's rapping in English. You know what I mean? Like those elements are there. Evolving yourself with new sounds, but still keeping it authentic. That's what I am looking for. That is my expectation. So is one of the people that gave me that. Arguably there's no hits in there, but when it comes to like new sound, new ideas, it's one of the people that for me that gave it that to me. And Lona is an underground artist. The Homeless album was amazing. I would say like it's probably, like I said, neck and neck with album of the year for me. Like a lot of emotions, a lot of content, a lot of authenticity. Like he sounded very raw. He sounded very like somebody that was ready, somebody that wasn't doing this just yesterday. He sounded very authentic. So when I say like you have to keep the local people engaged, you have to sing songs or make music that it's not just trying to attract just new fans, but to actually make music that people can rock with. It doesn't matter where you're from, that they just rock with it. I think again, that is what is missing for us right now.
Okay.
Mm.
So let me, because we're trying something new with this end of the year review. So we're trying to do some awards, and it almost sounds like we already have one of your award winners here for our Rookie of the Year.
Mm.
So that's the artist who came on the scene this year and made a name for him or herself. And I feel like I know who your answer is, but you want to go ahead and tell people who your Rookie of the Year for 2024 is.
Um, Lona, that's definitely my rookie of the year. Um, this is my rookie of the year. Yeah, I would say arguably album of the year. Um, one of those to look out for, really, um, in years to come.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. And how would you describe his sound to someone who hasn't necessarily heard that Homeless album or hasn't heard any of Luna songs? Like, how would you describe it if you were like almost giving a review of his artistry in that way?
I would say it's a real album. It's an emotional. It's like something that you can have an emotional connection with. It's it's like somebody painting you a picture. And because when I was listening to it and I was listening to what he was saying, like on Alone or Can't Breathe, like it's like as I was saying the words, I was imagining them in my head, right? And that is what I call an artist, somebody that takes a brush and they start painting. They're painting something in my head, right? That's what you can expect. It's I don't want to. Is it R&B? Maybe. Is it Afrobeats? Definitely. Um, but it's a good fusion of like I don't, because Afrobeat has like subgenres, and I don't want to box this album into like a genre. I just feel like it's an album that you listen to, and you kind of get a feel of what this person is going through as an artist, like where they are right now. The sound is very fresh. The sound is very, it's moving, it's authentic, the beats are different, the delivery of his lyrics, they're very special. um and the lyrics themselves, they speak something. So for me, it's something that I don't think heard somebody say they don't like that album this year. I don't think I've heard anybody say they can't, like, I don't think I've seen one person that they say they don't like that album. So it's just a different taste. It's something you just have to listen for yourself, really.
Gotcha. No, no, because again, like there are a number of people who have like heard these episodes in the past, and they sort of find new artists based on recommendations. So I'm just trying to give them like a bit of understanding into what your like. This sounds like a very like high endorsement from you when it comes to not just the artist himself, but the artistry, the album as a body of work.
Yeah, as a body of work, is a complete body of work. It is cohesive. It is well balanced. It has nice touches, nice elements of, both new, if you want to call it new sound, and that traditional sound that we know
Mm,
as Africans. It also combines like elements of like, um, when I say, there's this fire in there that you hear. Like, I don't know how to describe it. There's this thing that when you're listening to it, it just gives you goosebumps. Like, there's some things that, like, when I listen to like Can't Breathe, or like Alone, like when he said, there's some things that he said that I'll be like, okay, I've had a period in my life that I feel what you're saying. Like,
mm.
I understand what it is that you're saying. And that means a lot more when you're making music for the end consumer, because that's what keeps me going back to your song, that I can relate to it. And there's a lot of it that I can relate to in this music. So it's not just an endorsement, it's just like a big shout out for that album, because I really enjoyed it. I think I would love to see what he comes up with, next year.
Okay. All right. So we have a couple more awards that we'll get to later on in the episode, like most improved and of course our MVP.
Mm,
But I want to get back to something because when we touched on like Drake and other American artists, it just reminded me of one American artist that seems to have gotten a foothold within Nigeria specifically,
mm.
and I don't feel like I understand why or the genesis of it, but it's Gunna. And why do like anytime you see like any like a chart or they're showing you top 10 songs or top 10 albums or top 10 artists, Gunna is always on it. And I'm just trying to understand why is he like why has he broken through so much in Nigeria specifically? Like, do you have an answer for that?
Yes, I do. I think first things first is that Nigerians like trap music, and because Nigerians like trap music, there's a lot of artists that I realized that the new age, um, the new age Nigerians, if I want to call it, that they listen to, right? You'd be surprised that they listen to Lil Baby, they listen to Roddy Rich, you know, like, because these people make a different kind of trap sound. It's a melodious trap sound.
Mhm.
When you look at the name, like the names Gunna, Roddy Rich, Lil Baby, Young Thug, these people make melodious rap. It's not just about your Kendrick Lamar, your Joe Budden, the people that make the Rara, DMX, it's like they call it mumble rap, but in my opinion, it's like melodious rap for me, right? Because it has a little bit of melody. It's like just like what Odumodu is doing, like rapping in melodies, but making it like now make it English, right? And when you now put it like that, there's only a few people in that genre right now that can touch Gunna. Even like forget about Nigerians in the US. Gunna is one of the people that makes great music that people rock with right now. Like regardless of what, like it's gotten to a point where nobody really cares anymore. We just know like when Gunna sings, we are there. Like for me, because I'm a big Gunna fan, and it's not because of anything. It's because there's authenticity in his music. Two, you can understand what he's saying. Like
Mm.
it's like what I just said about Lona, right? When you keep it authentic, when you keep it like I remember when Gunnar was having all this issues with the law and it came out and then he dropped that album. Um, um, and I was thinking to myself, like, what is he gonna say on this album? Is it gonna be the regular VVS, you know? And it came out and that album was monster. Like it was like it was undeniable, right? It's very easy for anybody, it doesn't matter if it's a Nigerian, a South African, to listen to that and say, you know what, I like this. That's just one. And two is when it comes to the trap sound and all of that, when it comes to like the global age of superstars and stuff, we had a song with Gunna, Ashake and SARS, right? And Gunna had a song with a gospel artist. Um, his name was Victor something. I'm so
That this year song,
yes, and that song was big in Nigeria. That song was I heard it.
Victor Thompson.
Yeah, his name is Victor, right? I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, no, Victor Thompson. Yeah.
yeah. He had a Gunna had a song with him, and that song was big in Nigeria. And I think that did a lot of justice for Gunna too in that space. And from there, like even before then, the songs that it was singing with Young Thug and all of them, like it was just good songs. And when you are in that space where, because it could have easily been Roddy Rich. Roddy Rich had that same
I
chokehold
guess
on.
so. That's my question then. Like, why Gunna over Roddy Rich or Lil Baby or Young Thug? Like, specific like that. I guess
Because
that's the question that I seem to
yeah,
have. No.
because Gunna is just hot. That's it. Like it's just a different kind of artist, and it takes a lot. Nigerians, it takes a lot to keep us engaged, right? It takes a lot to keep us engaged. Like, and one thing I know is like we like melodies, and
Uh-huh.
Gunna gives you that. Like if you like trap or if you like rap, and you like and as an African you like melodies, Gunna gives you that easily. So that's one of the reasons why I like him, and I like his sound, I like his lyrics. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, that's it for me personally. I don't think it's just because it could, like I said, it could be easily anyone. It could be Roddy Rich if Roddy Rich had, like that level of artistry, like like consistency. Let me say that level of consistency, and I think Gunna's had that, and that is one of the reasons why he remains like one of them. It's like even that he didn't have a that album. Is it what is the name of that Gunna album? Um,
The most recent one is it 101?
A Gift and a Curse.
Oh,
Um,
with Lil Baby.
no, the one before the recent one. The recent one was One of One. Um, the the one before One of One was A Gift and a Curse, and
Yeah, Gift and Curse was okay.
that album did not have any features, from what I remember. Zero features at a time where people were expecting you to come out and speak about snitching allegations and like, what do you want to do? And is this going to be a good album? It was a bold move and it worked. And that was a great album. Um, Fuck You Mean was on there. Excuse my French, but that's the name of the song, really. It was a big song. And on that song, he sampled Show My Josie, I think. And that's a South African artist. So he's an artist that's tapped in to that art to the Afrobeat scenes. Like he even had a song that he talked about making songs with people from Africa. So like I feel like he's somebody that it's not just about the song, but like the artists of Afrobeat also rock with him as well. So the fans like him, Afrobeats artists like they rock with him. I don't think it's a no-brainer for